Hello, Christina Resso. Thanks for tuning into this video. Happy Monday to each and every one of you, and I hope you all are well. Just got a note from the Charlie Kirk show this afternoon that Tim Scott will be running for president. Now, he did mention that this race just, you know, this announcement, excuse me, I can't talk. This announcement came about this morning. And it was kind of a shock to me because I found this out from Charlie Kirk's thumbnail and his title, and it said VP. So I said, how can you run for VP until I actually saw the news that no, he's, running for president. Now, honestly, he's a fine senator. I'm sure he did a lot of things for South Carolina and will continue to do so. I don't think he's presidential material. Um, Due to the fact, I don't believe he's a strong leader. And honestly, for that same reason, he won't make it past the primaries. So he can give it a best shot. I mean, at least he's trying. He's just as brave as anybody else. His colleague, not colleague, but I think she's also some type of office person in his state. So, I mean, yeah, you never know. Um, so, let's see what happens. And again, um, I believe he's a weak candidate, but that's for the American people to decide. I'm sure he'll definitely get the votes from South Carolina. But the Democrats, if he is the final, the Democrats are going to eat him alive. So we, as wise conservatives, not being biased, but we're going to stick to DeSantis, okay? As much as I like Trump, I don't think the people are going to vote for him again. Now, he can, excuse me, a little sweat here, but I don't have my fan and air on because of the noise, and I want you all to hear me clearly. But it's just, and I'm not about hypotheticals and stuff like, well, but I'm just being blunt and honest with you folks. But again, I do like Tim Scott. I was behind him with the Uncle Tom name calling, even though Uncle Tom in real life was a hero. And if you've all seen my old videos, I do have an Uncle Tom t-shirt myself from in support of Larry Elder's documentary. So yeah, I mean, I believe Tim Scott will could do a lot of things for president. Just as Condoleezza Rice was honest enough to say this, I don't believe it's in his DNA. But let's see what happens. Now, Daniel Perry, I also I got both stories from the same read. Told you can't talk. Website NPR. I don't know if that's liberal or not. I mean, I really don't read from that, but I just happened to see the stories and I just clicked them on. So it was a headline, knowing, in case you all don't know about the case of Daniel Perry, early this month, he put a homeless man that was being disruptive and abrupt and abrasive with the passengers on the subway. And he grabbed them and put Daniel Perry put him in a chokehold to restrain him. And unfortunately, the man passed away, similar to the Eric Gardner situation with the same guy that was selling illegal cigarettes in front of a store, someone else's business, and a cop had to restrain him, and he ended up passing away, unfortunately. Now, what I want to know, it may have been something else that caused it, just like the case of Eric Gardner, just like the case of George Floyd. These guys were either sick or heavily under the influence. And most homeless people who refuse to take their medicine, they may turn to other drugs. Okay. This 30-year-old man uh, was mentally ill by the age of 14. He was diagnosed for this disease, and it's really sad. And I've run into people with mental illness before, and you know how they just, I mean, it's a very severe thing. So my heart breaks for people who suffer from it, but I'm not gonna feel sorry for those who refuse to take their medication. Yeah, you gotta take your medication. Just like with any illness, when I had my bad cough, um, I had to take my cough drops. Okay, if you're a diabetic, you have to watch your sugar. If you're unfortunately diagnosed with cancer or HIV, I mean, unless you're an infant, um, HIV comes with irresponsibility. You're diagnosed with those that you got to take the proper treatments for these things. So they're saying that this man was going back to this Jordan Neely, the homeless guy that was being abrasive. He was not only talking about he's hungry and thirsty, but they said he was very aggressive and with the passengers and also throwing trash. So I don't think anyone will put someone in if they say I'm hungry, give me some change. I've never seen that someone just jumps up and puts an innocent person in a chokehold simply for asking for change for a meal. So um, it's unfortunate for this young man, Daniel. He's only 24 years old. I've been to New York. I've lived in New York City for a year and a half, so I know how the Patriots can be. Unfortunately, it's gotten a lot worse since I've left, and that was nearly 6 years ago. So, yeah, I hope there's justice for this young man in the jury. There's a clear stand of the jurors, and I mean, Mr. Perry doesn't regret, and he said he would do it again. Um, in my opinion, he's a hero. Because that could have been me on that train, and they're most likely to attack women. As most homeless men are black men, so he definitely would have attacked me. So I'm glad this Mr. Perry jumped in to save the Patriots on that train. God bless him, and I hope justice is served on his behalf and not just lock this man up and calling him all types of supremacists. Well, you know how the left does it. Instead of, crying justice for the people that set up and not murder, deleted, because I got to be careful with YouTube, deleted this young lady in Chicago who was a cop. Okay. So, yeah, it's always a double standard. But that's all I have. I'm not going to keep this video on. I think on my podcast it was around the same time. I just speak from my heart. Christina Red Soul, pray for our nation, pray for our brothers and sisters under the persecuted church. And as I've been saying, the Lord bless you, the Lord keep you, and may his light shine upon you. And I'll talk to you as soon as God wills it.